What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is KillerKeemstar, and I'm here with...
OnlyusemeBlade.
This is the BadKidCast, the audio cast that you listen to
while you game.
We are available on iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and one more other source, but I can't remember right now.
It's been a minute, man.
We're available almost everywhere, except for YouTube, which we're working on fixing that. So we went to Denver again.
The Denver trip, Volume 2.
And the last time we went to Denver, and we did a podcast about what happened, you guys loved it. It was like
we called it The Trip, and it was epic.
So this is the Trip V2. So Dylan, and if you don't know Dylan is a 16-year-old who flies helicopters and who runs all the Minecraft servers, the big ones in our community. He runs, well, he founded Woodycraft. He created that. He ran OpticCraft, and he ran Crooniverse, which is like K-Wire, Speedy's, and Friends Minecraft server. So he runs all that stuff. And he has a bunch of websites, and the kid is, well, rich because of his work. So he is the one that is kind of like organizing these trips to Denver. And he organized this one, and he hit me up and he said, "Hey, Keem, do you want to go?" I said, "I will go, but Blade has to come with me."
Good looking, Keem.
So that's the stipulation, right? And the reason why is because these fucking kids are annoying as fuck.
Yeah, and also to do a lot of things, i.e. rent a car, rent ATVs, hotel rooms, all this stuff, you kind of need an adult for that. So
then we have the other people that are going on this trip with us is Robert. Now, Robert is from Seattle, and he owns a smaller hosting company, and he also flies helicopters, and his dad works at Microsoft, and he's just another rich little cunt. And he's originally from England. He was born in England, but most of his life he has lived in Seattle.
And how old is he?
And he is 18.
18. He's 18? I thought he was 17.
17 or 18. I'm not sure. All right. Then we have Fat Chris.
Oh, boy.
Now, Fat Chris owns a really successful hosting company, a pretty big one. And to the point where he like flies down to Texas and checks on his servers and stuff, like in the building, in-house, checks all the equipment, all that stuff. He's 20 years old. He's from Toronto, and his father is a CEO of a gold mining company.
Damn. I did not know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that part of him.
That's how Chris's basically company got funded.
Okay.
And then the fourth person that would be joining us on this trip is Alex. And Alex owns like some of the biggest Minecraft servers, I think like Minecraft skins.com or some shit, like all the big Minecraft servers, and he's rich because of it, and he is from England. So these are the people that went on the trip, me, Blade, and these four rich fucks. So, obviously, like, they paid for everything. You know, it was like, well, you know, Keem, come with us. I go, if Blade can come, and, you know, you pay for everything for us. We'll go. All right? That's the stipulation. Always. So, they book our flights. We go to the airport, and we notice this strange thing. Keemstar is sitting at the window, and Blade is sitting in the middle.
Every time.
Every time. Not only that, but we're going to Denver from New York, right? They set up the flight where we go to fucking Charlotte, which was like a couple hours south, and then all the way across. So it was bullshit.
See, the thing is, I know that they set it up so that we get into Denver first, so that we can get the rental car and pick them up.
Right.
But to send us to Charlotte and then to Denver seems ass backwards. It's like it's not a direct line. It's not a little bit of overture. It's like a really roundabout way to get to Denver.
Anyhow, me and Blade, we get super lucky. And on both flights, there's enough room where Blade could take a different seat. So, I mean, we're big guys, right? So we didn't have to sit on top of each other. Everything's fine. We get into Denver. We're there. We finally made it. Hours later, it's time to go get the rental car.
Yep.
Now, we're renting ATVs, and we're going to ride them in the fucking hills, right? So we need a big fucking vehicle to pull this shit, right?
Right. And we're going to have 6 people.
Yeah. So I get down to the Alamo to pick up my rental car, and to my surprise, they've fucking booked like this small like Jeep Cherokee shit. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. We need a Yukon XL. We have
like a Suburban or a Yukon XL or something like that, like the big boy.
So they're like, okay, fine, we can upgrade it, but you need to put down another $311. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, can you just charge it on the card that pre-ordered this? No. Had to put it on my card. So I'm like, motherfucker. So I put it on my card, whatever. You know, I figured, you know, I'll just tell them you owe me $300. They'll pay me. Won't be a big deal.
Right.
We got fucking insurance on this goddamn thing because it's fucking scary as fuck, right?
Yeah.
To rent this thing with these kids that don't give a fuck. So anyhow, I rent it, get the insurance. We go out, and now it's time to pick up them as they're flying in. The first person we pick up is Robert. And first thing, Robert gives us the wrong airlines where he's going to be at. So he says Alaska. Now, the Denver airport has 2 sides of it. It's got a west side and it's got an east side, right? So we're swinging by to pick up Robert. He's not fucking there, all right? Then he texts us, and he's like, oh, actually, I'm at the American Airlines waiting. I'm like, motherfucker, that's on the other side of the airport. So we have to go all the way around the airport again. And each trip around the airport is like 10 minutes just to fucking do this bullshit.
Right.
We go all the way around. We pick up Robert. Everything's secure. Then we find out that Dylan and Fat Chris have arrived. We have to go around the airport multiple times waiting for them to actually come out of their stop, which was bullshit. Finally, we pick them up. Now we have Robert, Fat Chris, Dylan, Blade, and Keem in the Suburban, or in the Yukon XL. All right?
5 deep? 5 deep.
So the first thing me and Blade want to do is go get weed, because weed is legal in Colorado.
It's beautiful, man. It really is. But I must say, though, okay, I'm not going to get, like, the place that we went to, when they told me the prices, I was like, are you kidding me?
$74 an eighth.
Yeah, and I, like,
Normally,
eight's normally $40.
Yeah, an eighth of weed
it's
is
been like
$40.
that forever. Like, it's been like that forever. But, you know, state of Colorado's got to get their thing. They act like salesmen there. I believe they probably get a commission. Like, it was bullshit. I seriously, I wanted to make a commentary about this, but I'm like, I probably should make a commentary about fucking weed prices and how the legalization sucks. Here's the thing. I've been smoking since I was 16. I've never gotten in any lawful trouble because of marijuana. Okay? No. I've never got a possession charge. I've never got any of that stuff. So it really didn't affect me. I used to smoke all the time.
Right.
So now with this legalization, now they're taxing the fuck out of it.
So we get to this place, Altitude, and their prices are fucking stupid, really expensive. And not only that, but the biggest problem I have at that place is they have a waiting area. You give them your ID, you go to the waiting area, and you got to wait to be called. That shit takes like fucking 20 minutes. Like, it's just annoying to wait that long when you're just trying to get weed and get back to your hotel after been traveling all day, right?
Right.
Anyhow, me and Blade, we go in, we get our weed. All right. I prefer a sativa.
And I'm an indica guy.
And he's an indica dude. So I want weed that's like going to make me feel active and alert and, you know, whatever.
Giddy's the proper word.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you'll laugh at stuff, but you're also like want to go do stuff, go on adventures.
Blade wants the type of weed where he just sits there and does nothing.
No, that's what indica is. It's couch weed, indica couch.
So anyhow, we both get our specialized weed. I got actually Golden Goat, I believe, Gold Goat from this Altitude place. I don't know. What did you get?
I got OG Kush. Blue Dream is my favorite type of weed. Was until I found out this new stuff that we're going to talk about later. And some hash berry.
So anyhow, we get our weed. We go smoke it. We go back to the hotel. All right. Now, granted, I have my hotel room under my name, but Robert and Dylan are both were under the age of 18, so I needed to sign them in for their rooms or whatever. So I do that. We get up to a room, everything's cool, pie as fuck. I love this new fucking weed that I got.
Yeah.
It's great. And we come up with the idea that we're going to play Monopoly. But nobody wants to have people in their room. I don't want these kids in my room. They don't want me in their room. So we found a meeting area downstairs, and it's like part of the hotel, and it's for like business meetings. We go in there, right? We're scoping it out.
It's like a tiny convention room, you know?
Right. And there's 3 of them. right? And we notice a fridge, and we look over there, and we feel like we've won the fucking lottery, because inside the fridge is at least 30 to 35 Mountain Dews and fucking
waters,
Pepsis and Cokes and Diet Cokes and all these drinks that are free. Now, it's not like we can't afford our own drink.
Right.
But the whole idea of free anything is just amazing.
First off, when you're at 5,000 feet, which is above sea level, you consume a lot more water than you would on in a normal climate or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The air is thin.
The air is thin. So anyhow, we're high as balls, all right, and we're playing this Monopoly game, and nobody can figure out how to play it because it's like some fucking weird Monopoly, like
weird. What's the word? Like
the version of Monopoly was like called corporations, and it was just some weird setup, and it didn't work. So then we fucking took off. We got another Monopoly game, and then Alex lands in, right? And they want us to go pick him up. I'm like, dude, I'm high. I've been fucking traveling all day. Fuck this. I'm not going to pick up Alex, right? So like, whining, pick up Alex. You got to pick him up. I go, let him just take a fucking Uber. Like, the kid's rich. He can just take an Uber. By the way, it's going to take more time because we have to take 45 minutes to the fucking airport, 45 minutes
And
back.
also, you have to keep in mind that a Yukon XL, this big-ass fucking beast of a vehicle, the gas for you to drive from our place to the airport and back would probably be more than the Uber.
Ridiculous. So anyhow, Alex ends up Ubering in, and, you know, I think we played a little Monopoly or whatever. Not that much shit happens the first night. We go to sleep. All right. Wake up the next morning. All right. Now, the greatest thing about the hotel that we're staying at, the Hyatt, is that they have free breakfast. And it's a pretty amazing breakfast in the morning. All right. So it's a situation where you can just like mound food up forever and take as many trips as you want, and I just fucking love that. I love that. So anyhow, we have a great breakfast, and then me and Blade step outside for a little weed smoke, because here's the thing: you can smoke weed anywhere; it's not illegal. All right. So we're out there puffing, and all of a sudden we see this lady come out with a red shirt on and a little white dog. And this lady is like, how old? Like, I'd say like mid-40s?
Mid-40s.
Right?
Early 40s, mid-40s, yeah.
She looks kind of, maybe that she's wealthy, I don't know. But she's walking her little dog around, and the dog just stops walking and is like staring at Blade with like big puppy eyes. I'm like, Blade, did you see that? He's like, no, I missed it. I like, watch that dog. The dog starts walking again with its owner, then just stops and is like staring at Blade.
Yeah.
And it's like really creepy, right? And as we're looking, because we're in the front of the hotel, right? And we're looking down the parking lot towards the road where to enter into the hotel. It's like kind of sideways onto our left-hand side. As we're looking at this lady, right, walking her dog, right? All of a sudden we see two SUVs pulling in at the same time. Now, in the parking lot, in order to get in front of the hotel, there's two speed bumps, right? These two SUVs are flying up towards this lady with the dog, and they're jumping off the speed bumps coming in. It was to the point where I thought like it was a car bomb coming into the hotel.
Like they were going to crash into the hotel. It was crazy.
So they fly right into the awning underneath the hotel. You know how hotels have like these awnings or whatever. So
one of them was like a BMW SUV, and it had that little whine of a turbo. And this thing was kind of a little, pretty souped up.
And the other one was like a Jeep Cherokee.
Right.
So they fly in side by side in a one-way fucking area to drive, right? They get underneath the hotel awning or whatever and slam on the brakes. And I just look at Blade, and Blade looks at me at the same time, and we're like, what the fuck?
So an ongoing thing on this trip that really sucks, and I have to say this, is that the iPhone sucks for battery life. So Keem's like, are you going to take a video of this? And I'm like, my shit's dead. Sorry.
And I didn't have my phone on me. It was up in the room.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. So all of a sudden, this guy goes, fuck you, motherfucker. Where'd you learn how to drive? And the other guy's like, fuck you.
I'm from here.
Some shit like that. So then the first guy that started talking shit, the younger guy of the two, right? He just flies up right next to me and Blade.
Yeah, like up on the curb where we're standing.
Up on the curb where we're standing, and parks his car. All right? So now these two cars are about 10 10 feet, 15, well, I'd say about 20 feet away from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude parks right next to us to the point where we have to move to see what's going on. He fucking rolls down his window and he goes, I bet you ain't from around here.
Yeah, some shit like that.
He goes, I could tell you ain't from around here.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're going to throw down. And the other guy's like, I am from here. I lived here my whole life.
So the best part about this is, right, is that it's getting to this point, this boiling point, where I think these guys are going to fight, right? The dude that is in the Jeep gets out right to the door and's like, fuck you. Then he, you know how with luggage, how you have to pull up the little handle in order to roll it?
Yeah.
He pulls that out as hard as he can and like walks away with his luggage in his hand into the hotel. Like, what? You're checking in? Like, how do you go, fuck you, and then be like, whoop, and then walk in?
So then the other guy starts following him in there, and he's shaking his head, and he's pissed as fuck. And a fight is about to break out, right?
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, nothing happens. It's such a letdown. And then one dude gets in his car, and he drives away. But the guy that drove up on the curb, he's still there. At this point, me and Blade are done smoking. We're like, what the fuck is happening? Let's get up to our room and get a camera in case something else happens, right?
Right.
So as we're walking to go back up into our hotel room, the one guy that's still up on the curb that's still there walks out and puts his arm around the lady in red with the dog and starts hustling her away. And I'm like, Blade, I think you just fucking kidnapped her.
Right.
Like this crazy motherfucker. I think he just put a gun in her side and said, don't make a word.
Imagine being so adrenaline rush about almost fighting from a hotel, and then like a caveman, you see like a lady and be like, you with me now. And it's like, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, he like grabbed her and like shuffled her away with the dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This guy that just flew in just kidnapped this lady. Anyhow, we go up to our room, and I'm like, wow, that's fucking crazy. I go back down. They're not there anymore. I don't know what happened with this story. There's no ending to the story. It's still a mystery. But
I saw the couple days later at breakfast.
oh, they were a couple?
Yeah, they were a couple.
Oh, well.
At the time, it didn't seem like that. It just seemed like he caveman, you, here.
He didn't kidnap her.
He did not kidnap her.
All right. So then, right?
Call it the Amber Alert.
It's day one. It's day one, right? It's time to go get the fucking ATVs, get the trailer, and go up and ride in the mountains. It's time to do what we've come here to fucking do.
But now, from day one, when you play Monopoly, first off, all these kids trying to play Monopoly down in the conference room, they're just like, Fat Chris is just like eating fucking junk food and throwing the wrappers on the ground, and it's just a mess, right? So I walk in there, and I'm like, holy fuck, this place is destroyed. And there's like a convention thing the next day. So, to cover up our trail, I cleaned it up.
Good job, Blade. So this is day one. We're on our way to the place. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. All right. Mm-hmm. We're on our way to the place to pick up the trailer and the 2 ATVs because we needed 3 ATVs because they only fit 2 people, these Polaris Razors. Mm-hmm. And there's 6 of us. So we need actually to get 3 of them. So we go to the place. All right. And on the way there, Chris drops a bombshell. He goes, I'm not putting my card down on these ATVs.
And we're like, what? Wait, what?
We're like, what? That's the whole reason why we came to Denver is to go ATV in. Now, let me explain this to you. I don't have a credit card, all right? I have a debit card. I don't fuck with credit. I've never, like, had a credit card ever. Like, I don't deal with credit, right? I buy everything cash. Always have, always will, all right? Blade, he doesn't have a credit card, all right?
I mean, I have a credit card, but it's also my debit card, so it's not like anything...
Well, that's the same thing with mine.
Yeah.
Mine's like a credit card, debit card.
Yeah.
Now, in order to rent these ATVs, you can't use a debit credit card. You have to use a fucking credit card. All right?
Because if anything were to happen, they'd be able to charge to it.
Now, you got to remember, Alex is from England, so he doesn't have a card that he can put down on this. All right? Robert isn't old enough, so he doesn't have a card he can put down this.
Dylan's not old enough.
Dylan's not old enough. Chris is the only person that's old enough that has a freaking credit card that he can put down on this. Chris says he's not going to do it. So this turns into a giant freaking fight, right? To the point that we get there and they're still debating over this, and the people are like, what's going on? Are you running these or not?
Okay, first off, what you have to... A lot of people are like, well, you guys got a free trip to Denver, got ATV, and you don't understand. When we were in the Target gathering clothes or whatever for this, going in public with these kids, it's like you're their parent and you raise the worst kid ever. Like, they would just knock shit off shelves. And another thing, whatever reason, they love the word fuck. Okay.
We'll be sitting like in line at Target, like getting like gloves and shit that we need for ATVing, and there'll be like a family with like little kids, and they'll be like, haha, fuck. Oh,
Yeah.
what the fuck this. We're like, you're swearing right next to a kid. He's like, oops, sorry, fuck.
Seriously, it's like Robert bumping into Fat Chris and be like, you fat miserable fuck. Like, and they'll pronunciate it and be hella loud.
I want you to fucking die of AIDS right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is how these kids fucking talk, like, nonstop, right? In public is so embarrassing to be with these little rich cunts.
Yeah. Horrible. So when we get to the rental place, and literally for an hour, they're arguing in front of the dudes. They're like, you just want to rent this thing or what, dude? Like, and it'd be a situation like, okay, I need that card so I can run it to put on there. And then they argue for a fucking half an hour.
Oh, Chris is like, 1 minute, I'm going to fucking call my fucking bank. Like, fuck this. Like, what the fuck? Like, so
it really changed my whole perspective on saying the word fuck. Like, I don't want to say it anymore now.
This bullshit happens for about an hour before we can even get the ATVs. All right. At this point, the ATV place, like, parks these fucking things up on the trailer that's hooked up to the Yukon sideways instead of like long way so we can drive on and off, sideways with like a portable ramp to give me. And they're like, well, they're not going to fit any other way. I'm like, motherfucker. Yep. So anyhow.
Oh, and also during this whole time, this is when Dylan started. All Dylan would say the whole trip is like, what is it? Hello, Keeming? And,
no, he'd be like, Keemstar trolled you. Keemstar trolled you. Over and over again. And then they'd be like, Blade!
Like saying like some Igor shit.
And they're just like, saying it over and over again to the point where I'm just like multiple times they had to stop the car and punch one of them. All right? And I'm like, stop, or I'm going to pull over and hit you again.
I think you actually did. I think at one point you stopped the car, got out, opened up the passenger door, and like
just started swinging.
And shook. No, I think you shook Fat Chris. Like, you don't want me to kill you. Like, you were fucking pissed.
Dude, these motherfuckers drove me insane. Anyhow, long story short, fucking Chris finally puts down his fucking credit card, and we get the 2 ATVs. All right, so ATVs are up in the trailer, and I'm driving out. Now, I got a fucking Yukon XL, which is a super long fucking car. It's like as long as a Cadillac. Now I got a 50-foot fucking trailer hooked up to it with 2 ATVs. Every time I want to stop, I got to predict to stop like a good 30 feet before I'm actually stopping, because it just pushes me with these ATVs. Now we got to go to another place to get a 3rd ATV because this place only had 2 to rent. So we go to the 3rd place, right? Chris fucking is paying for this. This is his ATV. This is like the special Razor souped up one, right?
It was more powerful.
I got to do all this bullshit where I have to move all the ATVs off the trailer again because the way the first place put them up, they didn't fit. So to get his up, and then I'm fucking strapping everything. It starts raining. Now, I'm the only one putting this on while these rich fucks are in the car like, Blade, Keemstar told you. Chris, you're fat. You're going to die of AIDS. Fuck you, Dylan, you're gay. Fucking fuck you, British kid. You're from England. Like, fuck you, Robert. You're a fucking peasant. Blah, blah, blah.
They love saying the word peasant.
That's all these fucking faggots say all day long. Now, they're in the car doing that. It's raining, and I'm trying to get these fucking things on, right? I finally get them on. And I start heading up to the mountain, right? Out of all this frustration that I have, I'm super excited because now I'm about to have pleasure. I'm about to fucking ride these ATVs. It quits raining. I'm on the fucking highway. And then I hear these dreadful fucking words. Hey, Keem, we need to stop at McDonald's.
Okay. Time out. One thing I do not understand is Dylan and all these guys talk about peasant shit. Like, if you do anything like a working man would, you're a loser. You're a peasant, right? They only want to eat food at the nicest places, this and that. But for some reason, they got a fucking McDonald's kick.
Yeah, they love going to McDonald's. So I try to explain to them. I'm like, I'm on the highway. I have to pull off the highway with this 50-foot trailer and drive through a fucking drive-through or even into a McDonald's parking lot. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, guys, that's not going to fucking work with this giant trailer. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. So I'm like, fucking, I'm sick of hearing it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to pull into this McDonald's because we were going by one. Sure enough, I fucking pull into this goddamn thing. I'm like hitting cones and signs. I'm like, I had to park long ways, and the fucking people are coming out. The McDonald's people are like, can you move your trailer? Nobody can get through. I go, if I move this trailer, like, I'm not going to be able to get through.
Right.
So these fucking kids run in, they get their Happy Meal, whatever the fuck they want it, right? They come out. I'm going around the building, like, really fucking wide turns. I finally get the fucking thing amazingly out, and we're actually going up to this fucking mountain. We're climbing. We're almost to the spot where we can go ATVing. It's now noon with all the bullshit. Remember, we started at 9 a.m. We fucking get there. I park it, all right? Now, everyone should be super excited that I am about to unstrap all these things, right? Unstrap all the ATVs, drive them off the trailer, and we're about to go riding. As I fucking start pulling the straps, I look to my left and I look to my right, and no one else is fucking unstrapping this thing. Now, let me explain this. In order to unstrap these ATVs, it's like a seatbelt. All you do is push the button, unhook it, and that's it.
Give it some slack and then pull it out from whatever you strapped it to.
No one's helping me. So I fucking do all this shit. I drive all the ATVs down. I get them out, and I go, okay, let's get geared up and let's go. As I'm gearing up, fucking Dylan gets into one of the ATVs, starts pulling donuts so fast that he fucking rolls it.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot. Now, this is the first time we've taken these things out at all, and we're still in the parking lot. We're not even on the trails yet. He fucking rolls it. All right? So fucking everyone's laughing hysterically and picking on him because what a fucking idiot. Now, the company said anytime you roll it, it's a $75 charge, right? Yeah. He puts it on its side. We pick him up. We get him back up right.
Can we mention the thing as soon as we left from the second place that Chris was like, I'm scared if something's going to happen to it. They're going to charge my card. I'm going to cancel my card.
Oh, we'll get to that.
No, that's what he did like 20 minutes after the rent of the second one.
So as we get up there, right, Dylan rolls it. All right. Then Robert gets in. He's like, I'll show you how it's done. He starts pulling donuts, and he fucking puts it up on the side. And we haven't even left yet. And there's been 2 rolls. All right. Then they try to switch ATVs with me and Blade, like they wanted our ATV. I'm like, fuck no, you just rolled that one twice. You're driving that one.
Yeah, what?
Like, so anyhow, we all get in our ATVs. It's the first day of riding. We start taking off, and it is fucking great. Finally, we're on the trail. I got a huge smile. I'm high. I'm fucking loving life. Everything's great. It starts downpouring.
Right.
So it starts fucking raining, right? And it starts raining pretty bad to the point where when you're opening it out and you're opening the gas up and you're going like 55 miles an hour, like the rain is like fucking poking your eyeballs. Like, yeah. It's hell. And these kids weren't fucking prepared. These kids had like sweatshirts and jeans on and shit. So we get back to the place, and everyone's freezing, right? They're like, open up the thing. Like, you got to fucking turn on the heat, open up the car. Like, they get in there, and the fucking British kid, like, had nothing on practically, and he's just freezing his balls off. And he's like, I want to go home. I want to stay. I didn't give a fuck how wet we got. Anyhow, I go to Blade. I go, look, dude, I'm not fucking driving. I'm not driving this trailer around, and I'm not driving these ATVs around. I'm not fucking doing it. I told the kids, I'm like...
It is nerve-wracking driving the trailer, guys. Like, no joke. It's nerve-wracking.
It's not a piece of cake. And not only that, but we want to do stuff. We want to go to, like, out to eat. We want to go to Dave & Buster's. There's things that we want to do. I'm not fucking driving a 50-foot trailer around with me to go do all this bullshit, right? And everyone was ill-prepared, so we guaranteed had to go back to Target to get people, like, more clothes and stuff. I'm like, I'm not taking this fucking trailer off. So as it starts downpouring and these kids are nice in the Yukon, nice and toasty with the heat up, right? Me and Blade are trying to figure out how to unhook this trailer. We could not get it off. I started cranking the fucking jack down on the trailer, and the fucking bottom falls out because it's too fucking high. Like, seriously, it was mission impossible. The jack did not work. There was nothing we could fucking do. The thing's broken on it. The handle's fucking broken. The pin's broken. Nothing's working. This fucking trailer is stuck on. So I'm like, fine, I'll just drive with the fucking trailer. Drive out the first night with a fucking trailer. Hurry up. By the time we get home, we're fucking exhausted, right? We fucking go to sleep. That's the first.
You're saying fucking a lot.
What?
You're saying the word fucking a lot.
Well, that's because I'm thinking of this fucking trip.
Okay, I'm just saying. I don't know why, but man, after this trip, I noticed that. Like, You know what I mean? I noticed that a fucking lot.
Anyhow, we go to sleep the first night, right? We wake up in the morning, and now I just have this freaking trailer on, right? We stop at Target. Everyone gets more gear. They get glasses. They get everything they fucking need. All right, and we head back up to the trail. All right. As we're back up there, right, the sun is shining.
It was a beautiful day. It really was.
It's a beautiful day, second day of riding, right? And we hit the trails, and we hit them hard. And I remember Fat Chris, being like, let's just drive so far that we get lost. So that's exactly what we do. We start going up on private roads. We're fucking... Pretty much any opportunity to go higher on the mountain, we did. Any north material we took. Yep. So we get all the way to the top of this fucking mountain.
12,000 feet?
Yeah.
12,000 feet above sea level.
We get all the way to the top of this fucking mountain. And once you go higher and higher up the mountain, the trails become basically boulders to drive over.
Yeah.
The trails are just boulders. I can't hear you in the mic, so you gotta...
I'm not talking in the mic right now.
Yeah, but anyhow, so you have to go like 10 miles an hour, and the thing's shaking back and forth, and you're at this point, you're not driving, you're climbing. All right? We get up to the top, and these kids must have got bored of going so slow, so they start playing bumper cars with their fucking ATVs, and they start crashing into each other. Well, fucking Fat Chris takes his souped up Razor and fucking swings into Alex and Robert's car really fucking fast, snaps the front axle.
Didn't he pop his tire earlier?
He popped, yeah, but we got fixed to flat and put it in.
Oh, okay.
So now we're on the top of the mountain. There's no trails even near us, right? And these fuckers have a broken ATV. So we're trying to figure out what to do. They ended up calling 911 rescue to get fucking shipped out of there.
My original thought was we would go down, like we would take the two ATVs, take 4 people, go down, and then to the truck, and then drop whoever off, and then come back up and pick those other 2 up. But as far as getting the thing down, I have no idea.
So we decide to stay on the trail that we're on, right? Robert seems to think he knows how to get out. He knows how to get out. So we start driving and driving and driving to the point where we end up like on highways and stuff, like on like roads.
Yeah.
And we get all the way to this one part where we're...
First off, you're not supposed to drive on the roads with ATVs.
Yeah.
You're supposed to drive on the trails, but not on the roads. And Robert pulls out directions. We're like, just get us to Central City. Pulls out directions. We're driving it for a good 10, 15 minutes. And then finally we come up on this thing, and it's like, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, we have to go on the freeway for like 2 miles. We're like, what?
We can't go on the freeway.
You can't pull an ATV on the freeway.
He's like getting directions on his phone thinking that we can go on the highway. No, you can't. You can't drive these things on the fucking highway. So anyhow, we got to go all the way back to the point where we're fucking lost, and we're on these trails forever, right? But I finally find my way back based on memory. And we get back to the ATVs or whatever, and then fucking Chris and Dylan that were stranded up on the mountain, like rescue picked them up and brought them back, all right? So we get up there, and we're talking to him, all right? And Chris goes, we're like, what are you going to do? Because, like, how are you going to return this rental ATV that's broken on top of the mountain?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to cancel my card.
Yeah.
He goes, these guys already rolled. I'm just going to cancel my card. And we're like, you can't just, like, rent an ATV and leave it up there. He goes, I don't give a fuck.
It's not that diabolical scheme. They've probably dealt with this before. You're not, like, the Grand Wizard of,
it's
come on,
basically
dude.
like fucking stealing, right?
Yeah.
So in the middle of this, I'm thinking to myself, I cannot take this fucking trailer. Like, I'm not going back to the hotel with this trailer. Now, where we're riding on the mountain is a good 45 minutes drive away from the hotel. I'm like, I'm not taking this fucking trailer with me. There's so much shit I got to do. Yeah. This is the day that I'm doing a fan meetup. I'm like, all you fuckers, you need to stand on the back of the trailer. Let's see if we can pop it. Sure enough, the fucking thing popped off. Freedom!
Right? It was awesome when it finally got off.
I'm fucking off of this trailer. I can drive. It was like being reborn.
Imagine having like a 50-pound weight on each ankle, and then you finally release it. Now you can just walk around.
Now, the whole ride back to the hotel, they're like, oh, someone's going to steal the ATVs. You're going to get fucked, Chris. Chris, you're going to get fucked. Oh, Chris, you're going to get fucked. Chris is like, I don't care. Like, I'm just going to fly early. We're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not even going to call the place? Like, you need to call the place.
Let them know what's going on.
And he's like, no. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to leave. I'm like, you're going to get charged. These are like $20,000 machines.
Right.
Like, anyhow, we get all the way back.
Oh,
And-
is this the Dave & Buster night?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me explain something, okay? So the first night we went to altitude and the weed prices were horrendously high or whatever. And then the next day what we did is we went to this place, the first dispensary in Colorado.
In
right?
Central City.
In Central City, right? That's when we got the green crack. And then that's also when I went there the second time, what I did is I decided to buy some edibles, right? So I bought some cookies. Now, it's 100 milligrams total. It's 10 milligrams a cookie. 10 milligrams of weed a cookie. I don't know what that means, but that's just what it is, right? Now, on the trip back, I take one and I take two, and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it, but I'm fucking hungry. So I'm like in munchie mode, but not high. I eat all 10 of them. Okay? Actually, no, I ate 9 of them because I gave one to someone else, okay? But like, so on the trip back, about an hour into it or whatever, like once we get to the hotel, I'm fucking way too high, like way too fucking high, to the point where like I'm like, Keem, you gotta stop and get, like, I gotta get a coffee before we go to this thing. Like, we were already running late, but I'm like, I have to get a coffee, dude. So I walk in there and I literally stare at the coffee thing for like 5 minutes, like not knowing what to do. It was like paralyzing, like how high I was.
So anyhow, we're fucking on our way to Dave & Buster's, right?
Yep.
Now, in my local town, there's a Dave & Buster's, and pretty much me and John taught Blade how to pretty much rape Dave & Buster's. Like,
Yeah.
there's a game that you can exploit and get tons of fucking tickets from. You're not really cheating. What you're doing is just, it's a skilled game.
All
and
right.
once you learn the skill.
Imagine a huge roulette wheel. Each little slot, like Wheel of Fortune or whatever, there's like a hole, and you drop a ball from above.
And you try to drop the ball from above into the holes that are spinning around.
Yeah.
All right.
So sometimes it goes straight in. A lot of times it just bounces around and eventually falls in one of the holes. We
Now-
always go for jackpots.
Oh, there's a jackpot that's 250 tickets every time you hit it. All right. Now, what I learned from my local Dave & Buster's is if you keep on hitting the guard on the jackpot, because there's like a guard to make sure it doesn't roll into the jackpot.
Yeah.
Like, you have to hit it dead center. It's pretty hard. If you hit the corner of it, you can knock the screw loose, right? And the guard will actually fall off, and then the jackpot hole is bigger than it normally would be,
Yeah.
right? So the first thing I do is try to knock that guard off, and I do it, all right? Then it's just jackpot after jackpot after jackpot.
Now, as he's doing this, first off, I'm high as shit, so I'm not contributing at all. I'm just watching, right? As he does this, the machine runs out of tickets, so he calls over, has the thing filled.
Now, again, this is a fan meetup, so we have fans there, and then we just have random people that don't know who we are, and there's a huge crowd around the machine as I'm just banking jack
Because
shots.
when people go to Dave & Buster's, a lot of time you'll see people with like that little cup and it fills up with maybe 200 tickets or whatever. Yeah, that's not shit. We have a fucking huge pile next to our shit.
Yeah, our pile was huge, right? So we got a crowd of people watching, right? And
Keem's hitting, at one point he hit 9 in a row.
yeah.
We counted. You hit 9 jackpots in a row, dude.
So I end up sending the kid out to like get me a pop or whatever, and I send another kid out to get me a guy to refill the tickets, right? So guy comes, he fucking refills the tickets, all right, and we're back to work.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
That's
right,
the second fill up of the tickets. So
That's
he
the
went
second.
through a whole roll of tickets.
twice.
Twice, yes.
So we're there, and well, there are actually multiple rows, because it comes out 2 different ways. But anyhow, the guy comes back again, all right, and he's like, yeah, this machine is broken, all right, so you can't use it anymore. So the crowd's like, aw, you know.
He walks up in the middle of Keem hitting jackpot after jackpot after jackpot, right? He walks up, nudges himself between the machine and Keem, and puts this little piece of paper that says machine out of order over the swipe card thing, right? And everyone in the crowd's like, what? That's lame. What are you talking about?
What?
Keem looks at him with his face like, are you fucking crazy? Rips the thing off and throws it on the ground and keeps playing. And the first one he did hit a jackpot. That was the best fucking part ever, dude. You gotta think, I'm high and I'm watching this. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Rips it off and he just keeps on going. So I'm like, okay, well, we're eventually going to get shut down
and
here.
the crowd is just like, yeah,
losing it, yeah.
Like, fuck the man. You know, he's not shutting down this machine. So I'm there. I'm hitting jackpot and jackpot again. Like, and I'm doing it as fast as I possibly can. It's to the point where the machine like cannot keep up. Like it's backtracked about, I don't know, anywhere between 3 and 10,000 tickets. It's backtracked. So we would just have to sit there and
just let it keep on spitting it out.
Yeah, and we'd have to wait about 45 minutes for the tickets to stop spitting out because it's backtracked so much.
Now,
right?
before we get into this, okay, they run Dave & Buster's like it's a casino, okay? And one rule that they have that I know from like playing in casinos is like if you're winning, if you're really just killing it, they are going to assume either you're cheating or you're good, but we don't want to say that you're good, so they're just going to shut it down. Like if I'm killing at blackjack, they can just shut the blackjack table down.
Now, the first guy that comes up that tried to put them out of order thing, he's wearing like a polo, right? He's wearing like the official like Dave & Buster's thing, right?
Yeah.
The second guy that starts rolling up as I'm hitting jackpots has got a tie on. This is a manager, all right? He comes up to me and he goes, look, I know you're getting free plays. Don't frickin' lie to me. We checked back with the computer. You're not paying for this machine. We're shutting it down. I fucking lose it. Yeah. I go, what? I go, are you accusing me of stealing? Is that what you're saying? I go hit the button right now. See if you can drop balls. He starts dropping out balls, but I had credits on the machine.
Yep.
Once the credits run out, he's hitting the button and no other balls are coming out. And I go, now watch this, motherfucker. I go, you see my card here? I'm going to swipe it, and look, now balls are coming out again. Don't fucking say that I'm fucking cheating.
Right.
They were literally trying to shut me down because I was pulling so many fucking tickets. He fucking goes, listen, I'm not going to apologize to you. I go, but I just proved to you that you were lying. And he goes and he unplugs the machine. So I'm livid. I want to hit this motherfucker. I'm so pissed.
Yeah.
Right? So I grab my pile of tickets, dude, and it's like, it's the point where the fanboys have to help me out, right?
Yeah.
I take them up to the fucking spot to put in the tickets, right? And they're fucking adding them up, right? And I start telling the lady, I'm like, yeah, this guy shut it down. He goes, well, you can just go talk to a manager that's much higher than him and tell him what happened, right?
Yep.
As we're doing that, like it's taking forever to weigh all these tickets because they had to do like multiple baskets, right? She's like, yeah, you have 30,000 tickets. So I turn around, and at this point, that's like enough to get like an iPad for free, right?
Yeah.
Or not an iPad, but what is it?
Like an iPod or something.
iPod, right? Like one of the decent iPods. So I turn around and I go, 30,000 tickets. And at this point, I didn't realize that we were there that long. There's a line that's like circling around the Dave & Buster's, like 4 people thick. Yeah. Right? And they're all just like, fuck you. Now get out of the way so we could like...
Yeah. Because he turned around thinking it was like a victory. Like, oh, my people are here. Thank you. 30,000. They're like, that's fucking great. Get your ass out of the line, dude.
Yeah.
We've just listened to you bitch and complain to this lady for like 15 minutes. Like, stop.
Well, they had to wait that long because it took them
so many tickets.
Yeah, there's so many tickets. So anyhow, get out of the line. Like I actually like try to calm myself down because I'm pissed off because when he unplugged the machine, you got to remember there was anywhere between 3 and 10,000 tickets that was owed that didn't pay out yet.
Yeah.
So they literally fucked me over. All right. So I calm down a little bit, and then we go and talk to like the district manager or whatever. Well, like that's
the highest person. Yeah.
The highest person that's there. And he goes, according to our machine, you're getting free plays. And I start fucking just arguing with this dude to the point where he went to go talk to the fucking security cop, right? And as he's talking to him, I'm following him, and he notices that I'm there, and he didn't feel like telling the security cop anymore, and he changed his tune, and he's like, we'll go check the computers. So they take all 3 cards, they come out with some sheets, and they just, backed up their same bullshit. They're like, yeah, it was given free plays. It shows right here on the computer. But I wasn't. I proved to you that it wasn't. Big argument, whatever. We leave Dave & Buster's. We say hi to the fans. We sign some shit. We take pictures with some fans. We leave. We get back to the hotel, all right? And there becomes this situation at the hotel that's fucking crazy. All right. Actually, that's the next night.
That's the next night.
That's the next night.
The next night, yep.
All right. After this, we go to IHOP. All right. We go to IHOP after Dave & Buster's. And for some fucking reason, Dylan just didn't pay the bill.
Yep.
He just skipped out on the bill. And he had enough money to pay for it. I don't know why he fucking skipped out of the bill, but whatever.
Okay, I was still so high that I was too high to read. So I didn't order anything until everyone else ordered something. Like, everyone's ordering all this food. I'm like, I'll get a water. Because I was too high to fucking even look at the menu. 10 cookies deep. Fuck that. Never again.
We go back to the hotel after IHOP and we go to sleep. All right. Now, remember, there's only one of the ATVs is fucked up. So there's only 2 ATVs left. The next morning, I go, I'm not picking up these ATVs because you canceled your card. Because the next morning was Sunday, and I knew that I had to return these ATVs. And I just told them, I'm like, I'm not returning these ATVs because you canceled your credit card. And when I return them, the company's going to be like, yeah, you canceled your credit card. We're trying to charge you for all this damage.
Right.
Because you got to understand, the other ATVs that are still fine, you got to remember one of them rolled twice. So that's fucked up a little bit. But it's still drivable.
Chris wanted us to deliver him back without him there. Like, he's just like, you just do it.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there because his card was in the line. I'm like, fuck that. I go, you have to pay me like $300 if you want me to deal with this bullshit. So they pay me the $300. I'm like, fine. I'll go get him. All right.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, Robert's staying back in the hotel because he doesn't feel well or something.
Okay, we didn't even mention this, that Robert had either gotten his braces off or on or some shit like that. Or
just on.
Just on. So he can eat food. So this whole trip he's
like he can't eat food.
And the high elevation.
And all the fucking shit, right? So, anyhow, we go, all right, and they give me the $300, and we go the third day to pick up these ATVs. Again, there's only 2 of them left, all right? So only 4 people can drive. So we agreed that Chris would be a passenger, all right? They paid Blade $50 not to go, to just wait at his car, and Blade's like, fine.
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't want to go back.
I did was, like, I rolled up some weed and just chilled.
So we get to the spot where the ATVs are, right? And Chris just jumps in one of the cars as the driver when we already talked about this, that he was going to be a passenger. And the British kid's like, I'm not going to ride with him, right? So me and Dylan were just going to ride in the other one because here's the thing. Me and Dylan have known each other forever, all right? Like, I've been friends with this kid for forever. Since he's been like 12, he worked for me. And Dylan and me just wanted to ride together, all right? Well, Chris was trying to fuck it up with the British kid because the British kid didn't want to ride with Chris. So there's this huge debate. Finally, I just start punching Chris. I'm just like punching him over and over again. He finally gets out and goes in the passenger seat, and the British kid drives him, and I go with Dylan. Now, we told you, Blade, that we were only going to be gone for an hour, but we were gone for much longer.
Yeah, about 2 hours.
We started hitting the fucking trails hard, and it's a great day. It's a great day. And we're up in the mountains. We're going all over the fucking place. I'm pulling donuts, and I'm on these trails at this point that I know because I've rode them 4 times now. You know, back in a couple months ago when there was snow on the trail,
right.
And then a couple times, you know, this trip, right? So I know these trails pretty well. I know everything to expect. So it's a 10-mile-per-hour trail in the woods, and I'm going 50. I'm just flying. I don't give a fuck.
He's showing me video that Dylan held where he was like going 50 fast as fuck.
Like, just the trees are whizzing by on this small trail, right? There's boulders that you're like, I'm fucking driving like S's, like back and forth, like dodging shit. I'm going fast as fuck, all right? Well, the British kid's driving, Alex, and Fat Chris, and they're in an ATV behind me and Dylan, and they're trying to keep up. We're on our way back. Again, I'm going 50 on a little trail in between the woods. Apparently, we just lose him. All right, we can't find him. Like, I drive all the way back. I'm like, what's up, Blade? Blade's high as fuck. Blade's like up in the clouds high. He's like, I'm fine. And
yeah, I was lovely.
Because I went there apologizing. I'm like, sorry it took so long. He's like, what? I don't care. So we get there, right? And fucking all of a sudden, like, Dylan takes my fucking ATV and just leaves, right? So now me and Blade are just stuck there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
I'm calling him on his phone. He ain't answering. all of a sudden, these fucking guys come flying in with this souped up razor, like a really fucking nice one.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, are you looking for your friends over there?
Those dudes wanted to be buddy, man.
Yeah, they were like, oh, yeah, man, you got two friends with red razors? I go, yeah. And I go, did they get in an accident or something? And he goes, well, the one's pretty fucked up. And roll cage all dented in and shit, man. The fucking back wheel's not working right.
Is that your guys' razor? And like, no, we rented it. Oh.
And he goes, but the other one seems to be fine. They're going about 10 miles an hour down the trail. They should be here in about 15 minutes.
First off, like Keem was like standing on the trailer itself, and they just hopped on up there like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
So, 15 minutes roll by, and we see Dylan come first, and he's in my ATV. That's fine. And I'm like, Dylan, what the fuck happened? And he goes, dude, they crashed. It's bad. So we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and sure enough, they come in. And the fucking back tire is like wobbling back and forth to the point where it looks like it's falling off. The roll cage is all dented in.
Yeah.
Now the British kid's driving and Fat Chris is in passenger, and they get out, and I notice blood all over Chris's knee, and there's blood all over the British kid's knee or arms and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And the British kid's like, well, you know how you were driving down the trail like 50 miles an hour or whatever? Well, we were trying to keep up with you, and I took the same line that you took, and all of a sudden, we went airborne, and we, like, flipped it 4 times. We almost died. I'm like, holy fuck, is it that serious? What the fuck happened? Like, what? Really? And, of course, it's true. They fucking rolled. They rolled 4 fucking times and landed on their side. Now, you got to understand, before we even took off, this British kid went on a huge rant and held us up 30 minutes before we took off this third day, saying that he didn't want to drive with Chris because Chris was dangerous. Mm-hmm. And this kid rolled it 4 times. They're fucking lucky. They could have died, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, they're bleeding all over the place or whatever. So we get back, right, and I drive this fucking wobbly thing up on the trailer, and I drive the other one up on the trailer, which was mine, which was fine, right? I'm fucking going through all this bullshit, strapping them up, and now I got to go through the bullshit of returning these when Chris canceled his credit card. Now, you got to understand, Chris's credit card is on all 3 of these. The one that he left up in the mountain, the one that just rolled fucking 4 times, roll cage dented in, back tire all fucked up, and mine. Mm-hmm. Thank God it was Sunday because the place was closed.
Yep.
So we fucking went there. We fucking unloaded them. We got the shit off, and I fucking got the trailer off, and we're out. Freedom! We returned it with no bullshit, right?
I mean, except for the one of them was fucked up. That's not our fault. Like, that's their fault.
Yeah, so...
That's like British and Chris' fault.
As I'm taking these off, I take mine off first, and I notice something's wrong with mine. The transmission goes out. All right? I'm like, what the fuck? Right? So now you got to understand, every single one of these ATVs got fucked. All right? We take off, we leave, we go back to the hotel. All right? And the main thing is we didn't eat this day, so we're starving. So we decide to go to eat, but Dylan wants to go back to Dave & Buster's, like, hella bad. He's like, let's just go to Dave & Buster's. I want to see you rape him again. All right?
Okay.
As we're heading out, Dylan goes to me. He goes, Keem, you know how you put down the room for Roberts? I go, yeah. He goes, go down, show me your ID, get another room key for Roberts. I want to pull a prank. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
He's like, just do it. Just do it. I go, give me $60. So he gives me $60. I'm like, fuck it. If he's going to pull a prank, he's going to pull a prank, right? So I get a fucking room key for Robert's room, and I give it to Dylan. All right? So... we're fucking at Dave & Buster's, all right? I'm fucking hitting jackpots again. Like, hurried up and grabbed a quick, like, 6,000 tickets or whatever. And Dylan's disappeared. Like, he's not there. Or I'm like, where the...
Oh, Dylan tried to dine and dash again.
What, at the Dave & Buster's?
At the Dave & Buster's. So Dylan was like, oh, I'll get your next meal because I gave him some, gave him like a weed cookie or whatever. And so I'm like, okay, Dylan's going to take care of me. Perfect. I was like this, like I figured it was like $10, and my stuff was like 11 plus tip. And I'm like, Dylan, did you pay? He's like, yep, paid. I'm like, all right, here's like $4 to cover tip and stuff. He's like, all right, thanks. Gets up. They all start walking away. The whole group starts walking away, right? And the lady that served us is like, yeah, here's the check for like everybody. I'm like, you little rich fucks, come back. Like, get back over here now. And they're like, what? And they're like, you guys need to pay your bill. Like, what the fuck? Dylan, I don't know what Dylan thought, like, dine and dashing was like the cool thing to do. And I'm like, dude, you can't fucking do that.
He was doing it everywhere. So anyhow,
and then Dylan disappears.
Dylan's gone. I'm at the Dave & Buster's. Dylan's not there. I'm like, what the fuck? Where is this kid, right? All of a sudden, I text him. I say, if you're back at the hotel, we're on our way back now. And I get a text back saying, no, wait, hold him up longer. And that's when it clicks in my brain. Dylan took an Uber back to the hotel from Dave & Buster's to break into Robert's room.
Mm-hmm.
So I start stalling everyone, because he did pay me $60. I start stalling everyone. I'm like, yeah, we need to go to the store. We need to go do this. We need to do this. We need to do that. Right?
I even chipped in and said,
I told Blade the truth of what was going on, right? The prank was being held. All right.
So my contribution to it was I told them that I left my card at Dave & Buster's, like my credit card. And so we drove back to Dave & Buster's to get it, and that gave us another half hour.
So I'm expecting that Dylan's like in Robert's room, and he's like shaving, creaming everything, and like just doing some crazy fucking shit, right? Well, it gets to a point where Dylan keeps making me stall him longer and longer, where I'm getting frustrated. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, the $60 isn't worth it. Like, I want to go back to my room.
Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah. Why do you have me stalling them for so long? Aren't you done with this prank by now? Because Dylan's like been there for like an hour, right? And he's like, no. I go, well, what are you doing? Explain to me what you're doing. He goes, well, I'm putting a rat on Robert's computer. And I'm like, what? He's installing a rat on Robert's computer. And I'm like, why?
What is exactly a rat?
A rat is like hacking software to like grab all the passwords and like grab everything.
Okay.
So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Now, apparently, these guys just came back from a London trip, and apparently Robert took a bunch of pictures of Dylan that were like embarrassing or something, and Dylan was like hacking his computer to try to get it back. And I'm like, I want no part of this.
Yeah, it's
like,
too deep.
I want no part of this, Dylan. Like, I'm bringing them back. I'm telling Robert I want no part of it. And Dylan's like, fuck it. He's like, I'll just give you like $1,000. Just don't say a word. Now I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, don't take the money. This is so fucked up. But at the same time, all these faggots were annoying me. And this trip was just miserable. Blade! Keemstar told you over and over again. I'm so frustrated. If there's any way I can somewhat profit from my misery, I'm going to take it.
Right.
So I agree to it. I'm like, fine, I don't give a fuck. I want nothing to do with this. I'm not into it, right?
Yeah.
So I stall them. We finally come back to the hotel, right? And I'm like, Dylan, fucking send me the money. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to do it until the morning or whatever. Give me some bullshit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is going down? So me and Blade were like, let's go smoke again. So we're out in the front, all right? Mm-hmm. We're in front of the hotel, all right? And the kids come down in the front of the hotel as well. And what they notice in the parking lot, and it's late, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, what these kids notice in the parking lot is that there's 2 pizzas on top of a car that somebody left. So they go and they get the pizzas, and they're looking at them. They're like, oh, my God, we found free pizzas. I'm like, dude, they've been sitting in that car forever. Yeah. So they set them on top of the garbage can, right? Me and Blade are smoking. These 4 fucking rich kids are out front. Dylan decides that he's going to fucking grab a piece of pizza and throw it at the British kid, all right? And they're all laughing and stuff. They're like, ha-ha, like throwing pizza back and forth at each other. It's not a big deal, right? Dylan goes and runs in the hotel so nobody can hit him with a pizza. Everything's fine, right? We start talking, we're chatting, we're in front of it. And all of a sudden, I see Dylan grab a whole pizza of this old pizza. And like, this was thick pizza with like an inch of sauce. Like, this was not like just flimsy pizza. This was really thick, saucy pizza, right? He takes the whole fucking thing and throws it on the top of British's head. And then British like fucking like grabs a piece of pizza and fires it back at him, and it hits the hotel front window, right?
Yeah, the entrance to the hotel, the sliding glass door is just sauced up.
Now, we're high as fuck, right? And this black lady working at the hotel desk comes running out. She's like, no, I'm calling the fucking police.
So I go into this mode like, no, you're not. I go in there. I'm like, listen, they're fucking kids. If you have like some clean supplies, I will take care of it right now. No need to get the police involved. And like she had her hand on the phone.
Yeah.
And she was like, if it's all clean, I'll come out there in 2 minutes. If it's all clean, everything's good. I'm like, thank you.
So Blade saves Dylan from going to jail. All right. Then the next thing that happens, right? I go to Dylan. I'm like, Blade just saved you, and you didn't PayPal me the money you owe me. You better PayPal now. He goes, I'll do it in the morning. I'm like, I'm not falling for this shit, because what these kids do is they always like send each other money and then they charge back just to see that what they can get away with.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's so. Fucking ridiculous.
One of the days, the hotel parking lot was being like repaved, so there was these yellow "Do Not Enter" signs, and Keem's like, yeah, like they're like, Keem, you should drive through that. That'd be hilarious. And he's like, yeah, $40. And they're like, I got 20. Okay, do it. Will you do it for 40? He's like, yeah.
So
he fucking does it, laughing like hyenas. And
then they're just like, oh, we're not paying. What? Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. These cunts.
Like, their word doesn't mean shit.
Their word doesn't mean shit. And Dylan never sends the payment. He goes, oh, I'll do it in the morning. I'm like, fuck it. I go, first of all, like, I'm assistant Dylan in a fucking crime. Like, that's a legit crime.
Yeah.
Right? I go, this dude's not even going to pay me. Like, I'm not a part of this anymore.
Right.
So I call up Robert and I tell him, all right, what happens? Right, what happened? And that his computer's hacked.
Yeah.
All out fucking war.
Yep.
Robert starts freaking the fuck out and he starts calling the police and everything. So then we stop him from calling the police and we're like, just calm down.
Yeah.
Like, erase your computer, get a new computer, whatever. He's swearing at Dylan. They're fighting back and forth. Like it's just hell at this point, right? Robert finally calms down. He doesn't call the police, but like he's gathering all the information that he can that Dylan like has done this to his computer. Dylan's freaking out and he's like trying to bribe everybody to like fucking protect him or whatever. All right. So we go to sleep that night. All right. And we're like, what the fuck happened last night? I can't believe that bullshit. And this is the day that we're going to fucking go home. Now, what these idiots do, right, is they schedule all their flights to go out at 1, and they schedule me and Blades to go out at 7 p.m. So we're like, motherfucker, all right? And when I return the Yukon, all right, it's got to have full gas in it. You can't return a rental without full gas, all right? And these guys are supposed to pay for gas. So I'm going to them like, all right, who's paying for gas? Like, I need like at least $100 to fill it up, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll pay you. We'll pay you when we go, right? Now, I have to give everyone a ride to the fucking airport. What these three fucking idiots, Dylan, Chris, and the British kid do, right? They end up paying for an Uber to give them a ride to the airport, and we were leaving at the same time. So the money that they spent on the Uber, they could have just gave to me for fucking gas.
Yeah.
So we end up having to take just me and Robert over, and he pays for like a little bit of the gas, like $50 or whatever. So now the gas is like coming out of my own pocket, right? We return the thing, and me and Blade are happy as fuck that we're out of here, that we're away from these fucking little rich cunts, and that we're fucking leaving and we're gone for good, right? All of a sudden, my phone rings, and Dylan's like, yeah, I bought you a flight that leaves early, like at 3.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this part.
And we're super excited. We're like, yes, we're leaving early, right? Well, then he calls back, texts later, like he says, I'm just trolling. And now we almost returned the rental car early.
Yep.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Anyhow, we get these fucking kids out of here. We're away from these. We're about to be home. We're going to be home at 1:30 in the morning. Our flight leaves at 7 p.m. We're super excited to get home. We fucking get to our airport, and we get our tickets, and they tell us that our layover in Chicago, that we're going to miss our flight because there's a weather delay, and we're going to have to spend the night in Chicago. So we're like, fuck this. Let's just get drunk. Let's drink. So we're like drinking, waiting for this flight. And, you know, by miracle, we ended up making our flight somehow, and we got home at 1:30, and that was the fucking...
We got home at 3.
Or 3 in the morning, but that was the fucking trip.
That was the trip. Very thorough. I'm glad that we fucking timed it out like that. It's beautiful.
That was the trip, and this is the cast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy the BadKidCast, make sure you share it. If you think there should be...
You know that was one take?
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking... That was one take Charlie, man.
If you think there should be more trips, make sure you let us know about it. See you guys.
Peace.